Welcome to this special event. It's gonna be a meditation, appreciation, philosophizing, and theorizing, and perhaps a little bit of comedy, humor, maybe just maybe a little bit of rap. Maybe get it out of the way and start rapping right now. Got a bottle of wine, red, for the Sabbath. Pour it up. Yep, don't wait. Get in the bed. Start kissing and hugging, yep. Stock market crashing, yep. Be kissing and be loving, yep. Fly high up. For world peace, all gestures, words, meditations is first and foremost dedicated to all my willingly loving allies and armies. Yours truly, Adrian Dragan. This underground room office and temple in Hawk Island, Montreal. Just finished cooking in this afternoon. It is 3:58 p.m. EST in Hawk Island, and I'm gonna have a late lunch meditation doing this video, and it's gonna be posted on YouTube and of course live on Facebook as continuing my documenting my fitness journey, distributing, making public my theories, my philosophies, my universal spiritual teachings, my wills, my desires, my geopolitical analysis, my work. Although broke, my work is gold as an independent athlete, independent activist, an independent artist, AAA plus fourth dimension to that trinity, a universal spiritual teaching student. Not perfect, far from it. Got issues, got vices, get moody, get upset, get triggered. I'm a student, independent student, scholar of history, wars, geopolitics, civilization, and universal spiritual teaching student. I say student because, of course, in matters of spirituality, as in all matters of civilization and nature, do not know it all or do not claim to have all the answers. Perhaps have more questions than answers to things related to spirituality, science, technology, innovation, which in a parallel life is my chosen path. I'm a great scientist, innovator, and worker in the area of technology in a parallel life. In this life, philosophy, poetry, art, physicality, psychology, the irrational emotional life, the spiritual life, and they can work and have to work hand in hand together, as I do explain that as part of my dancing goddess and dragon philosophies, which are embodied in mottos. 2 plus 2 does equal 4, but doesn't mean we have to write 2 plus 2 just in one color, all in black or all in white or red. My favorite color and the de facto color, the dragon army, red and green, the dancing goddess army. We can mix all the colors of the rainbow plus the black and the white and write the two. We can write it either in green or in red. The plus, we can write one line black, the other white, and the other two we can write it in red, or vice versa, green and red, vice versa, red and green. And the equal sign, we can write one line in black, the other white. And 4, we can write one line in purple, one line orange, the other pink. So thus we can have in that equation 2 plus 2 equals 4. We can write it in all the colors of the rainbow plus the black and the white, which this simple motto explains, and my philosophies. Philosophy that, of course, science, innovation, mathematics, logic can work and must work in a complementary, cooperative, covenant way, just like the dancing goddess army, officially international integrated dance league, which I'm calling the creation thereof, should work hand in hand to the and be complementary in a covenant in a cooperative way to the Dragon Army, the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force. So it can have both psychological dimensions, spiritual dimensions, psychosexual dimensions, and matters of nature, of our own natures, our own selves, with our emotions and feelings. The feelings and the emotions important, they matter. They're part of us, the subconscious, just as 2 plus 2 in mathematics equals 4, but doesn't mean we have to write it in only one color. Besides, myself like to have the colors of the rainbow, as much color around me as you can, although sometimes I'm rather stormy or perhaps bent towards a little bit of red, scarlet, which is this shade of red sometimes. I do have moments when I'm intense, do have moments when I'm moody, do have moments when I'm upset, do have moments of XYZ. Struggled, suffered many years, and right here I'm joyous today. This is the Sabbath. The Sabbath begins at Friday at midnight and lasts until about Sunday, 3 p.m., 37 hours, 49 minutes, 42 seconds of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, which is my call to all, my work, the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, an abstract, philosophical, artistic, psychological, political, even spiritual work, which have, of course, began even before the COVID, but mostly during COVID, and I take pride of having created the best, simplest, most efficient workout training program, officially titled General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the Dragan Army workout, which requires no equipment, of which I've performed more than 250 sessions. Continuing my fitness journey, cannot stress enough the importance of working out, of training and exercising. Working out, training and exercising has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for yours truly, as I believe it is for many, and have been, am, and will advocate for the mass financing of people to work out, to train, and to exercise. It has been, is, and will be medicine and therapy for yours truly, as I believe it is for many. 77 pounds down, a few more to go. Got some brain and some muscle, but I'm not perfect in some things, areas of civilization, wisdom, knowledge, or skill, or competency. I am mediocre, average, so-so, even suck at some things, fucking useless maybe at some other things, great at others, excellent at some things, super at a few things. I'm the world's greatest living dancing millennial rainbow poet with some brain and some muscle. I do believe firmly with all the vices, the lust, the issues that do have. I do not play it self-righteous, that I am for the greater good, and that with my trinity of theories known as citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, and democratic fusion theory, at this point in time where humanity has reached crises at many levels, I do believe that they offer some solutions, some answers to the problems we are facing. And of course, charity has to begin at home. I always say if I make $1, I'm gonna share with my sister half. This glass to my anonymous sister, whom greatest woman I know. Bitter wine from Italy on a budget. It was below $10 Canadian. It just was the wine that I could afford to split in half. My anonymous sister. So I'm grateful, thankful. Gonna say meditation. Grateful, thankful. Have food. These noodles, macaroni and cheese. I made myself from cheese, bought on a budget. Prices, food prices increasing. Raised the salaries and multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires. I'm disappointed in a lot of you. It's just I'm a bit disappointed, and believe me, I'm not without flaws, vices. I don't read from a piece of paper. Hey, Mr. Secretary General NATO watched the news yesterday. My brother, I was a bit upset and triggered. I said, "Did you really have to read that from a piece of paper? You don't have to cook for yourself. Everything's taken care of. Could at least memorized a few paragraphs, a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs of 6 phrases each paragraph. Could have at least memorized that. You have to read from a piece of paper." I was a bit upset, leaders of the free world. I keep on reading from a piece of paper. Now, I understand if it's statistics, equations, technical issues, or other issues that need to be read from a piece of paper, but telling us that we did this and that and we're in a crisis and we got to address this specific issue, the ongoing Ukraine-Russia crisis and the ongoing geopolitical unrest and food prices and food security issues, to read from a piece of paper that somebody else wrote for you. Well, I'm a bit upset, to say the least, and disappointed with a lot of the leaders of the free world. And I said, and I'm not gonna vote anymore, since I don't hear any politician. If in the collective of North American civilization, the North American civilization, the collective, or the free will for that matter, to say I love you. To my brothers and sisters, if somebody's not making love now, kissing, hugging, for all that I will say, meditate, exclamate, analyze, theorize in this 93 minutes, or maybe 77, or maybe 61, whatever I'm gonna go and have this eating here with, live on Facebook, utilizing science, innovation, and technology to live stream it with the potential to reach east, west, north, south, not just Hawk Island, Montreal, but beyond coast to coast Canada and the collective of North American civilization and beyond the oceans. That way is west, which is the Pacific. That way is east, which is the Atlantic, and that way is south, the United States of America, of which yours truly was born twice in past lives in the USA. Matter of fact, 156 years ago, 718 miles from this place in Hawk Island, Montreal, served in the U.S. Army. So, my brothers and sisters, thank you, farmers. Thank you, farmers. Thank you, farmers. Love you. This food here that I have. These noodles, of course. This is macaroni, macaroni, macaroni. Comes from wheat, right? It was farmed and transformed. Reached my table in the macaroni to the machines and the machinery built by brain and by muscle. Built by brain and by muscle. Built by brain and by muscle. Just like the 63 dams here in this La Belle Province du Québec, of Quebec here. 63 dams power the electricity that I have, the light in my back. I've plugged my phone earlier this morning, so the electricity that I'm using to do this live stream and record the video and to post it after and to watch a movie later, to have this light to be enable me to meditate, conversate, and do and cook, because I cooked for myself. Took me about an hour to cook. I used the oven, the stovetop, the stovetop, the stovetops, two stovetops. I used electricity powered by clean, renewable, zero emission, zero polluting energy built by the brains and muscle of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of workers who work for the institution, organization, corporation, public that we call Hydro-Quebec, who also distributes clean, renewable, zero emission, environmentally friendly energy to at least 5 states in the USA that I know: New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, and I think other states as well. I think 5 or 6 states. Renewable clean emission. Just like these tomatoes here, see? These tomatoes are local. Thank I was grateful to afford. They were half price, so I jumped to get myself 7 tomatoes at a pound. I cut them and I put a little bit of cream cheese, which was also half price. So I'm eating on a budget. Grateful, thankful. I'm buying the wine less than $10, so it's a affordable wine from Italy. This wine across the ocean to reach my table. And food, brothers and sisters. Try to eliminate food waste, and corporations as well. Try to donate. Food waste, food waste, food waste. Food is holy, sacred, and divine. Because we do everything that we do: art, work, volunteer, 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 create, clean, love, 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 or XYZ that we do, sports, all things that we do in civilization. Acquire this holy, sacred, divine thing called food. So these tomatoes, I know they're local from Quebec, grown in a greenhouse. They're grown in a greenhouse, Quebec, outside of Montreal. So thank you, farmers who grew these tomatoes for me to eat, to have more energy, to heal, to meditate, to do this meditation. And thank you for the donation of the veal, of the veal, of the veal. My brothers and sisters, sometimes I do not eat meat, sometimes I eat meat. This veal was actually donated to the local food community fridge. We have a local fridge, food community fridge, and sometimes I put some things, sometimes I take some things, and sometimes I take some things, sometimes I put some things. We have a food community fridge. I really love that initiative, love food security initiatives, and we can all do better. Local, national, and international food security, as we are facing a global food security. And I'm grateful, thankful in this 4:12 p.m. EST that my rent is paid in full for June. My electricity bill is paid in full for June. Half of my phone bill is paid in full for June. Trinity of bills, fourth dimension, have food. From the farms, the macaroni came from the wheat. It was transformed through the machinery that grinds, that mixes with water, and the moles, and the big machinery, industrial machinery of the corporation, the business that made this macaroni that's specialized in pasta. But the pasta, most of it comes from wheat. It can come from other grain, from barley, but mostly it's from wheat, from barley, and from other grain. The pasta, right? It can be different grains, but mostly it's wheat. So to the farmers, my brothers and sisters, farmers here from Quebec, Canada, coast to coast, thank you, love you, massage you, kiss you, wash your feet. The farmers, got more appreciations to the farmers. The North American Civilizational Collective, local, because at least from what I do know, the tomatoes are local from Quebec. A few miles east, that way of Hawk Island, Montreal, down the river. Big river St. Lawrence, which Montreal, Hawk Island. Montreal is an island surrounded by a big river. And this wine crossed all the way from Italy, crossed an ocean, but it was harvested by grapes, my favorite fruit, somewhere in Italy. So, to the forgotten goddess, of which you can see the background, I do say the word goddess, you can say Mother Nature, planet Earth, whatever you want to call this somewhat mysterious planet which we live in, and which from which the black fertile earth with the golden heat, sun rays, the light of the sun rays heating the black fertile earth with the water, making all fruits, vegetables, and legumes. And that is the motto of the Dancing Goddess Army. The motto of the Dancing Goddess Army is all fruits, vegetables, and legumes are made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother the sun. All fruits and vegetables and legumes, this tomato, the olives, the wine, the grapes, all of them are made, created, and produced. Even the wheat to make the macaroni, but of course in a different way. The machinery uses it, grinds it, as all food now is being produced, and not only produced, but sold and distributed at this moment in time. That I'm doing this live video on Facebook with this meditation, this cup of wine, this late lunch, perhaps early dinner, because it's already 4:18, and I am doing this meditative live stream. So all these fruits, all the vegetables, all the legumes are made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother sun. That our brothers and sisters, farmers, harvest for us to make, upgrade, or maintain civilization. To make, upgrade, or maintain civilization. That is the motto that embodies a philosophy, an ideology of the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom. So thank you, farmers. Thank you, truckers. How many truckers now going inside the island of Montreal with goods, with food such as this, with tomatoes, with bagels, with bread, with macaroni such as this, with veal, with all the produce that we eat. Food, holy, sacred, and essential. And there's a spirituality of food because it enables it. It enables us to build, maintain, or upgrade civilization. Hopefully, maintain civilization if not upgrade it. I could use a little bit of upgrading myself. So thank you, farmers. Thank you, truckers who now transport the food east, west, north, south of Hawk Island, Montreal, unloading, loading trucks, those in warehouses, those across the supply chains, in the ports, in the farms, truckers, those making a cheeseburger now, those making a hamburger, those cooking in the food industry, making a meal at home from the produce. Farmers, thank you. Truckers, thank you. Grocery store clerks, thank you. Warehouses, thank you, love you. This food is holy, sacred, and divine. The world peace. The dancing goddess and the dragon kingdoms mottos of the philosophies, embodying the philosophy. One of it is, of course, that all fruits, vegetables, and legumes are made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother the sun. All fruits, vegetables, and legumes. All. ALL. The totality of all the fruits, all the vegetables, and all the legumes being made, created, and produced are by the dance. That's yours, Betty. That's all yours. Except for half of the macaroni. All the fruits, all the legumes, all the vegetables are made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother the sun. You can see the emblem in the background. You see the emblem in the background. The priestess of the goddess. Yours truly, Hannah. H-A-N-N-A-H. Without exception, all the fruits, all the legumes, all the vegetables, east, west, north, south, all over the world, are made, created, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother sun. Now that's a more spiritual, mystic way of putting it. You don't have to accept that statement as a from a spiritual perspective, from a mystic perspective, but that's how I put it. Of course, you can go in the scientific way that the black fertile earth with the water and the rays of the sun, the nutrients, the micronutrients, elements that exist within the light of the sun fertilize the already existing elements, nutrients in the black fertile earth with the water, and that makes all the fruits, vegetables, and legumes grow. Whether tomatoes, potatoes, lettuce, grapes, bananas, fruits, vegetables, and legumes, all without exception. And all those fruits, vegetables, and legumes are harvested by our brothers and sisters, farmers, somewhere in the world. Those leaders of the free world gotta give those farmers a massage, go give them a kiss. You want to have foot wash or something, give them more appreciation. It's food. You gotta try to eliminate food waste. It's so holy, sacred, and essential to everything that we do in civilization. Building it, hopefully maintaining it, and the best case scenario is upgrading civilization. Enable us to do all the things that we do. Specialize, dance, workout, train, exercise, volunteer, or get energy to do X, to do Y, or to do Z, or to just exist, survive, to survive and live another day, even to that extent. Food, the sanctity of food. But without exception, that is maybe universal truth. And I know that truth sometimes can be relative. Truth sometimes can be different. Perspectives, feelings, emotions, our own biases, subconscious feelings and emotions can make us see only a portion of the truth. Can see a biased truth from our perspective, from our own experiences, from our hidden fears, hidden lusts, subconscious elements, experiences of life, education, linguistics, all the factors, know-how, competency. Like I do say that. I did say before and during COVID, because I meditated on the preciousness and the sanctity of food, and I said in past videos that how effing useless feel since I never farmed, but in reality, even I farmed in past lives by the ancient Egypt, by the Nile, fed the priestesses, and the workers who build the pyramids do not know how the pyramids were built, but I was a farmer who fed the priestesses, the women in the spiritual office, priestesses of the goddess Isis and Hathor and Sekhmet, which were actually one, but with different names, manifesting different manifestations, but they were different names, and fed the workers who built the pyramids in a past life. And by the Euphrates was a farmer also fed priestesses and workers, and by the Danube and in ancient India in the Ganges was also a farmer. So in past lives have experience, in this life have experience only in urban farming. A few years did involve was involved in urban farming, so learned and did the all the farming necessary, the sowing and cleaning the soil and doing everything, planting the seeds and watering and taking the weeds out and doing the urban farming. So basically at a more micro level, at the more micro level farming. That's what urban farming is basically. So I have some experience urban farming, so past lives. Food is holy, food is sacred, food is divine. And one of my spiritual teachings goes that we are interdependent, we are interconnected, dependent on food. And we depend, interdependent on a power, force, entity which surrounds us, which is part of us, but which also transcends us. And that is, I say the word goddess, G-O-D-D-S-S, the sister of the goddess of heavens, here below, the Mother Earth, Mother Nature. There's trees, 3 times my size. Trees are but the hairs on the goddess's body, on Mother Nature. Wants to organize a dance around the trees, kiss for the goddess. Yes, we must work with the balance and harmony in nature. One of the things we have in Quebec, grateful, thankful in Montreal, that we have this electricity which is clean, renewable, zero pollution. Pollutes not. It's clean water. Again, the brains and the muscle utilizing, and do say Mother Nature is the greatest scientist and artist. Mother Nature is the greatest scientist and artist. Mother Nature is the greatest scientist and artist. Now in a parallel life, science, innovation, and technology is my chosen path. Diverged in this it's philosophy, psychology, theory, geopolitical analysis, geopolitical theory, some poetry, and as a universal spiritual teaching student, because of course do not know it all, have more questions. But that motto, philosophical motto, embodies a mystic spiritual perspective, which is also can translate in a scientific perspective. The farmers will tell you that you need the black fertile earth and the water and the sun to grow their crops, potatoes, tomatoes, grapes. They see how it came out. I put a little bit of cream cheese. I didn't put that much cream cheese, so it diluted a lot. It's a bit bland, I gotta be honest. But mixed with the tomato and the real mm, mm, yeah. It needs some salt. I'm gonna be back in a minute. It does need a little bit of a pinch of salt on the macaroni. There's a pinch of salt. I'll be back in a minute. Less. If you want to do a movie at 5:30? I don't know. I thought it was the best. I should have asked him. But last time you're gonna use it, and you said I can use it. I will ask him. All that is yours. No, so it's well done. It's well cooked. So all that is yours, except for half of it. Yeah. But all the meat is yours, and all the 5:30. Not a lot of salt left. A little bit. Found it. Found the salt. It does need a bit of salt. A little bit of salt. And I'm tempted to even put a little bit of mayo because it's a bit bland, but it didn't have that much cheese. I cooked. All of this I cooked. I had coffee to cook, so I was grateful, got the energy, see, but I just cooked for 2 people, so I didn't cook for that many. But see, veal, macaroni and cheese, and that is a salad. A salad has a little bit of Bulgarian feta cheese with tomatoes, two tomatoes and olives. Has olives. That's a good Sabbath feast on a budget. Tomatoes were half price. Macaroni was half price, and the veal was donated. So, and the cream cheese, I used half of a cream cheese, was also bought half price. Let's see now. Is it better? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Need a little bit of salt. Thank goodness. Have a little bit left over. See? Open question. Did salt prices increase? I don't know. I think so, but I'm not sure. Cheers to world peace, securing food, housing, and transport. Dragan Army, Dancing Goddess Army. To complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, calling all willingly living to support the mission, vision, and philosophy thereof of the creation of the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragon Army, with the International Integrated Dancing, aka the Dancing Goddess Army. Cheers. And implement my Trinity of theories: citizen integration theory, democratic fusion theory, and debt refusion theory. That Trinity of theories implemented in order to create the two complementary covenant institutions to abide and work by those with those theories implemented. Citizen integration theory, for example, allows citizens of all ages to go see how farming is done, how transport, how these 63 dams operate across Quebec, to integrate. As we had since 1984, a lot of specialization. Since 1984, we had a lot of specialization. 1984, we had a lot of specialization, and now we need citizen integration theory to combat alienation, to come together. The Dragon Army to be of security and service, integrated with all existing public and private institutions and organizations. The Dragon Army. See how things are done. To help XYZ cooking, to help with the children, help them exercise, work out, train, run for half an hour, play soccer, do the general war integrated body training system, do some push-ups, do some squats, do some hawks. They're driving the parents crazy. So have applications integrated with all radio, telecommunications, social media. Have a 1-800 number application. People to ask for services. A trucker drives all the way from the south, carrying origins from Florida, is not paid well enough, can't afford a $100 an hour massage, $150 an hour massage. Offer a service with consent and hygiene and mutual understanding and love. All services offered with consent and hygiene, mutual understanding and love. All services offered that harm none. Simple principles. Services that harm none with consent and hygiene, mutual understanding and love to be offered. Right now, my rent is paid. I'm grateful, thankful. My rent's paid for June. I'm grateful, thankful for that. Can work, can meditate, can write, can go on social media, can write poetry, continue writing children's books, which I do. Hopefully ASAP will be published. I have great ideas. I love children, love the youth. My books are original due to the fact that I incorporate some of them Stories incorporate movement of the body, because when they're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then they got a lot of energy, so might as well incorporate some movement. When the teacher's sitting on a chair reading to them on a pen, they could do a few squats, they could do a few push-ups, right? Flap the wings like the bee, flap the wings like the bird, and they do it, and they do it for 5 minutes, then they're more receptive. So integrating that based on books read about children's education, based on my own experience volunteering, reading to children, for example, and love volunteering in different areas. I am calling for volunteers to the, with the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom. I am calling for volunteers, the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom. Leaders of the free world. Nothing personal, Brother Trudeau. See you reading from a piece of paper every night and watching the news. You turn it off for tonight. Just the main message is to all my willing, loving allies and armies and beyond. See y'all make love tonight. Make love now. Start kissing with consent and hygiene. Give it a tickle. Give each other a bath. Give each other a wash. Wash each other's feet. Wash each other's bodies. Body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. Body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. With consent and hygiene, mutual understanding and love. Dragon army of security and service. I'm not perfect. Far from it, God. I'm moody, get upset. And some things I'm average, mediocre. So. It'd be better. But other things I'm good. Certain things I'm great. Yeah, the geopolitical analysis, excellent. Poetry, superb. Some brain and some muscle. And I admit, earlier, last night, this morning, I did watch a little bit of, not a lot, a little bit of adult movies, a little pornography. But for the past weeks, I set a discipline on the limit. I said I'm only going to watch adult movies or pornography during the Sabbath, which begins Friday at midnight and ends Sunday at 3 p.m. Right, for XYZ. There you go. I admit it. Live on Facebook, I watched a little bit of Paul, P-O-R-M. Leaders of the free world, which are reading from a piece of paper somebody else wrote for you tonight, man. I know, money, right? Bureaucracy, yeah. Red tape. Nobody's gonna stop me to dance. Kisses, God, for my willing, loving allies and armies, God. One kiss sent from the heavens above, starlit heavens. One kiss trickled down, became 718 trillions of kisses. So I'm a trillionaire in kisses. For all my willingly condition, they were given to me, credited. Those kisses from the goddess above, starlit heaven, queen of heaven above, beautiful blue sky to the goddess, her sister below, who dances with her brother sun, and that one kiss turned into all these trillions of kisses. So I'm a trillionaire kisser, credited with the condition that will freely distribute to all my willingly loving allies and armies. So if you join the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, you want kisses, God. Can kiss, massage, hug, rub, do some push-up, squats, workout, train, rap with that, train, philosophize. If you march with Adrian Hanna Dragon, we bust a dance move, we do Dragon Zero. Priestess HNH, Hana Adrian Hana Dragon, androgynous pansexual founder, the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, raw, real, revolutionary, unedited, live on Facebook. Gonna put this raw, real, revolutionary video on YouTube. My philosophy, my poetry, independent artistic work, independent athletic work, independent activist work, challenging the multi-millionaire athletes. Try to do one of my workouts. Try to do it step for step, push up for push up, hawk for hawk, squat for squat. I wonder, Solutions, meditations, the food meditation, food security, prices have increased, inflation. What is inflation is? What is inflation? Inflation basically is the loss of purchasing power of the dollar or the currency. It can be all currencies because inflation is a universal international global phenomenon in the economic, financial, commercial system. Inflation basically is you buy less for that same amount of the currency. It's not necessarily a dollar, it could be a euro, it could be a shekel, it could be a yuan, it could be a ruble, right? It could be real, it could be pesos, right? So it affects. So let's say that macaroni, used to buy a bag of macaroni for 99 cents, 900 grams. If it goes, inflation can cause it to go to 119, 129, 149. Right? So basically, you're gonna pay more. You have to pay more of the currency for the same amount of goods. You pay more of the currency for the same amount of goods. This is the fundamental. Some people complicate things sometimes, and even I have a tendency with over sophisticated words and language in finance, commercial that's perhaps not necessary alludes. Food, housing, and transport. Food, housing, and transport secured. Food, housing, transport secured. That holy, sacred, divine trinity of the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom. We have that secured. We can work on the fourth dimension. Services, services, services. Services with education about civilization and for the body, pleasure and purpose. As I'm calling for us to move towards an economic, financial, commercial system of pleasure and purpose. Purpose for the environment, harmony between civilization and nature, harmony, equilibrium, balance between nature and civilization with mass financing, more recycling, better recycling methods, better recycling practices, better compost, more compost, more financing of solar, hydropower, etc., etc. So all that we do, while at the same time offering alternatives of doings to the existing industries which pollute, because we have to address that. The existing industries that pollute. What do we do? Right? We have to understand, find some solution. Not bad. I think I'm gonna put one more time some salt. Just a little bit of salt. Yeah, well, I'm grateful to have this, but I have this a little bit, not at all. See, scrape it. No salt waste. It's gonna be used. No food waste. No wasting of ingredients. See, it's a bit strong. It's even a. This is a bitter wine. The first time it's kind of even rough. If I could describe this wine, the punch is rough. Has a hard hitting punches, which is rough, with notes of dark earth, even wood-like character, and a middle bitterness. Has a, yeah, punches hard, middle bitterness, A little bit of woodiness to it, a kind of woody taste. Darkish, reddish, bitter. It is bitter, I gotta say, it is bitter. So working out, training, exercising do encourage y'all. Take a bath. Probably take a bath either later tonight or tomorrow. Bath, shower, hygiene in public, brothers and sisters. What's happening with the monkeypox? I don't know. Us being part of course, the LGBTQ community, androgynous pansexual, it's a bit concerning about the tone of the media, and I'm not going to go into that too much, but I have to please stress that it's not related only, of course, to my fellow LGBTQ community or fellow gay brothers and sisters. I've seen gay brothers, right? Because hygiene. If I step outside of this underground room office and temple, I'm no longer just private citizen. Right here in my underground room office and temple, I am private citizen sharing my philosophy, my art, discussing about the meal that I've cooked with my own hands, my own energy, my own. As thanks to Hydro-Quebec's electricity, of course, to heat the stovetop. Thank you. Clean, renewable, zero emission energy. But of course, I'm a private citizen. What all the things that I am: independent artist, independent activist, independent athlete, universal spiritual teaching student, geopolitical theorist and analyst, a great geopolitical analyst and theorist. At other things I am mediocre, at some things I am average, at other things I'm so-so. When it comes to geopolitical analysis, analyzing the psychological, philosophical, and even cultural, civilizational of different civilizations and states, that I can be excellent and counterpart from what I've read and from, of course, the dialogue of certain individuals. If you want me to, you want to commission, sponsor a specific, from a specific point of view, yours truly, Dragan's independent geopolitical analyst point of view of the current Ukraine-Russia crises, I am calling for a ceasefire, and maybe a ceasefire, but I can provide a thorough analysis from reading, self-education, knowledge about historical events, main events, and of course, the analyzing the speeches by Putin, the speeches, of course, and the lectures by one known named Alexander Dugin. So to have more understanding and in-depth, you can commission, sponsor, make an offer. So we'll make an hour, even more, 2 hour. It can be a 3 hour session, even at the university level, analyzing the current crisis which we're facing from the left, from the right, and a lot of it in the center, and perhaps a fourth dimension to the trinity of left, right, and center. So I'm a great geopolitical analyst, superb, excellent poet, universal spiritual teaching student. Sometimes I'm an okay cook, sometimes I'm a so-so cook, sometimes I'm a good cook. Sometimes depends also on a lot of different factors. A lot of different factors. Sometimes we lack the tools. We lack the tools. I don't know at all. I do know what has worked for me to come out of depression, being suicidal, working out, training, exercising, complementing my own journey towards the intellectual development, the development of my intellectual, as I proclaim myself to be the people's doctor, of having spent many years in the past with one foot in the streets, the other foot in the libraries, making the tens of thousands of books in the libraries, my friends, and read tens of thousands of books and written, typed, or in USB keys, or by hand, even written by hand, manuscripts, geopolitical analysis, cultural civilizational analysis, spiritual philosophical analysis, poetry, songs, which I give orally in a compendium right now, and it's 4:47 p.m. EST in Hawk Island, Montreal. Yours truly, for world peace, raising the glass. I'm gonna recite a poem. The poet's poem. What is a poem? What is a poet? Poetic, or the philosophy within the purpose. purpose with the pleasure, purpose with the gossip. They gossip, no asking, no questions, no nothing. I keep on rambling, drinking, rambling, no gambling. I take a 1 minute breath, 1 second life, one life upon a time in the sun sets and sun rises, glories, civilizations, nations and watchings, and linguists and plural and rapping and grabbing, and wish a big kissing and hugging, and leaders of the free world from pieces of papers be reading, leaders of the free world from papers be reading, leaders of the free world from papers be reading, reading and gambling, rambling and rambling, pieces without it, gotta be taking the action. Action's the push comes to shove and the push and the love, and the push what's above and below and the hug, and the hug when comes none and the left and the right, in the circle, the center, the rainbow be sparking about with some rainbow, with some melody and some charm and some poetry and some loving with some history and some left to the mystery and some I don't play the self-righteous, 'cause that's not me. There you go, that was a little bit of a channeled poetry from yours truly, world's greatest living dancing millennial rainbow poet. I'm the greatest poet and dancer when those two come in combination. So I'm not the best dancer of the world, of the universe, but I am, in combination with the poet, I'm the greatest, world's greatest living dancing millennial rainbow poet. What has happened in the stock market? I'm gonna go a little bit about the stock market. I've been known that I don't have any investments. I'm broke, but my work is gold. I do analyze a little bit, follow a little bit as much as can, and from what I've seen, is it a stock market crash? Seems like a big downturn, at least to say, in the financial, commercial, economic jargon. Some say it is even a crash. When you have one day losing 2%, 3%, some say in a row, 3 days in a row, that is an official crash. Now, I'm not going to say it's a crash or not, but what I will say that is Monday, in 2 days, we could be waking up to a stock market crash. That is a possibility, cannot be ruled out. On the crypto, my brothers and sisters, anybody made it this far into this discussion video lecture, on crypto, I'm going to say this. Crypto has fancy, sophisticated algorithms based on internet, fancy, sophisticated, high-tech technology of the internet. Yes, 100%. Cannot take that away from crypto. The algorithms, the mathematics, the code, and the internet technology. Wow, wow, wow. Superb. Very few understanding, or some understanding, some more than others. Perhaps even some that invested in it have absolutely not an in-depth, profound understanding of it. I will say this for my general analysis. Although crypto is fancy, sophisticated algorithms, science, mathematics, and coding and language and high technology of the internet, it is mostly, besides that, a speculative, I'm not going to say asset, but it is speculative vehicle. It's a speculative vehicle of speculation. Makes me think a lot about of the financial event of the tulip, Dutch tulips, when the prices of the tulip bulbs went up, and there was a lot of speculation on it. On certain other things, speculation. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go up in value. So that is my main analysis, because crypto plunged, right? 10, 20, what, some 30%, even 40% down, right, from its highest in just a few days. Losing 10% in 3 days, 15, 20%, a quarter, 25, 30% in 3 days of the value. That's some cryptocurrencies really went down, and with the stock market. So my take on the crypto is that yes, it's fancy technology, sophisticated technology based on science and algorithms and high-tech internet technology, but overall, generally, it is mostly a speculative vehicle, which has this fancy, sophisticated, algorithmic, internet-based technology, of which don't claim to have knowledge or understanding, but know the generalities, the essence of it, the general workings of it, not perhaps the inner workings and all the workings of everything that's in the computer, with all the everything that formulates the computer, and the program, which is coding, and it's basically also software engineering, right? Of which, in a parallel life, science, innovation, and technology, satellites, supercomputers, ICBM gadgets, microchips, and supercomputers is my parallel path in that parallel life. In this life, I'm sticking to geopolitical analysis, spirituality, philosophy, art, athletics, independent athletics, having created my workout video. So that's what my statement is on the crypto. That although, albeit it is fancy, sophisticated mathematics and algorithms and software and code based on high-tech internet technology, it is mostly, generally, and overall a financial vehicle, speculative financial vehicle, or even instrument, we can say, financial instrument, if you will. The currency buying and selling enables it, but we use the Canadian dollars to trade and acquire it to the US dollars and other currencies, the euro, shekels, and other currencies, pesos, and what have you, the currencies of the world, of which there are many, to buy crypto, sell cryptocurrency, whatever the cryptocurrency is. Bitcoin is the main top one still, but when the Bitcoin has reached what it was, almost $50,000 American, one Bitcoin at one point, right at the beginning in mid-February or so. So it is going down, it's going down. What is it today? One Bitcoin? I don't know. What is it today? I don't know. Right now, maybe it's 22,000, 30,000. They're always trading. Yes, fancy, sophisticated algorithm mathematics and software code, but it is mostly, generally, overall, I call it a speculative financial vehicle, or speculative instrument. Very little difference between, although when we put them in different phrases, a financial instrument can be a different things. Can be an instrument, could be a stock, for example, or a vehicle could be a more in the financial markets, whatever we buy and sell, whether stocks or whether mutual funds, right? Whether even currency, the forex or what have you. So that is. But the question is, do we want to maintain an economic, financial, commercial system which is tied with the stock market in the 21st century? Leave that open question. You want to continue an economic, financial, commercial system which is tied in with the stock market in the 21st century? Do we, I'm saying we as you're a North American, Canadian, world, global LGBTQ citizen, part of the North American civilizational collective, the collective of North American civilization. So that's when I say we, and humanity for that matter, because the stock markets are everywhere. We have the main ones, right? But we have the Wall Street, New York, which is still the top stock market in the world, the TSX, even Montreal stock market. Individuals with applications and smartphones can trade by. I have an app which tracks some stocks, mainly the main ones, the main corporations, and some of the what's known as penny stocks, where it's advised any investor should start. I don't owe any stock. I don't owe anything of value. I have a little bit of debt. I have a little $10,000 in debt. Government's asking me for 2,200. Which I was hoping I could make a deal with the Gouvernement.Quebec, with the government of Quebec, to say, hey, on the Saint Jean, and I pay my debt with $2,000. Just put me in a blue truck and let me go mid the Assemblée Nationale, mid the where the government of Quebec is, and let me stay there from in the morning, from 7 in the morning till 8 in 13 hours, and I'll just hug and kiss and whatever Quebecois for a whole day for the Saint Jean, and will that pay off my debt? I'll try to make a deal with them. A lot of people are in debt. Debt is a big problem, a growing problem, has grown in the past decades. In the past, student debt, a lot of debt. And debt itself, if we go on financial analysis, debt itself, the debt, things that we owe, let's say I owe to the RBC Bank of Canada $9,977. So let's round it up. $10,000 that I owe to the RBC banking institution, one of the top five banks in Canada. I owe them $10,000, right? The debt itself is not negative or bad necessarily. What can be the potential to be bad and negative is the interest paid on the debt, the servicing of the interest. Now, the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, my call is to implement ASAP debt refusion theory, which is a theory when I've written in the past years of going to the libraries, reading tens of thousands of books on economics, finance. I remember one time I took both the old Das Kapital of Karl Marx, published in I think 1868 or 1888 or 1858, 48, between 1840 and 1890. Karl Marx published with Engels. Karl Marx, a big thick analysis of the economic, financial, commercial system called Das Kapital in German, basically the capital. And a few years ago, Thomas Piketty, someone know my writer, analyst in economics, financial, commercial writer, Thomas Piketty wrote Capital in the 21st Century. Thick, both are thick books. I remember taking over the weekend and I read both of them, comparing the differences a few years ago, and I had a headache. My headache was about to explode. I said, to read them again. So anyways, perhaps a little bit too much sophisticated language, unnecessary language, which a lot of people have complained with due motive that perhaps in the finance, a lot of the language is so unnecessary and it more obscures than reveals or brings about the essence, such as inflation. Some people can go on for 30 minutes in an interview about inflation and miss the point that basically, fundamentally, generally, inflation is the loss of the purchasing power of the given currency. That if inflation affects, whether the Canadian dollar, the US dollar, the European euro, the Turkish lira, the Mexican peso, the Australian dollar, or the Israeli shekel, whatever it is. Right, whatever it is. Because fundamentally that's what it is. Basically, for the same amount of goods, you're gonna have to pay more of that same currency. That's inflation, simple. So inflation, when you hear a lot of economists, financial, commercial, speak there and have spoken in the past weeks and the past months, inflation, and they have PhDs. Inflation fundamentally, brothers and sisters, is loss of the purchasing power. And basically, fundamentally, in essence, generally what inflation is, that what means in practice is that a citizen buys less of the same amount of goods for the same amount of the given currency. In Canada, Canadian inflation, Canadian dollar. So for a Canadian dollar, given inflation in time, a week, a month, whatever, you're gonna buy less for that dollar of XYZ amount of goods. Let's say you bought 100 grams of wheat. If inflation is 8%, you buy 8% less for the dollar that you bought. You buy less in quantity, right? So if you bought 100 potatoes for $1 Canadian, and the inflation is 8% in a month, that means you buy 8% less potatoes. And if it's 100%, you don't buy 100 potatoes anymore with $1 as you used to. You buy 92 potatoes with $1 that you used to. Simple. That is the simplified version. That is the simplified version of explaining inflation. You buy less. Now what causes it, what triggers it, being the interconnected economic, financial, commercial system, several factors. It can be different factors, and it certainly is at this point in time. And with this modern inflation in 2022, it could be a manifestation of COVID, what happened during COVID, increasing the money supply. Money supply. How much money is in Canada in circulation, Canadian dollar. I could speculate. US dollars, I could speculate. US dollars by proportion to Canadian dollars could be a bit more because the US dollar since the 70s has, and after the Second World War mostly, due to the Bretton Woods agreements, due mainly to the Bretton Woods agreements, which spawned, created, institutionalized the World Bank, the IMF, and the WHO. Right, Bretton Woods, not far from here, some a few hundred miles that way, that way, that way. So institutionalized these global commercial, financial, economic organizations. I know my money supply. Got $11 cash, $10,000 in debt. I pay $4 a month to have the $500 overdraft protection every month, so I think I have $31 until I reach the limit. So I have $31 which I could withdraw from my bank in case of an emergency. Food, let's say. I have food, calculated my food for, got noodles, got pasta, got sardines, noodles, and pasta, which could feed me for until July 1st for sure, for 13 days for sure, without having to buy any other food, The pasta, the sardines, and the noodles. If only that. Pasta, got about 6 bags left. Sardines, got about 11 or 13 sardines, and noodles got about 25 or so small bags. Plus got ingredients to mix them up with to make. That is my money supply. About $11 in cash, $1 US, 1,000 won from South Korea, which is 1,000 won is not 1,000 Canadian. 1,000 won is basically a Canadian dollar. I got a Korean money, 1,000 banknote from South Korea. It's 1,000, but that's 1,000 is $1 Canadian. So it's not that much. So that's my money supply. But my money supply, cash, is part of the money supply of Canada. Because my $11 in cash plus your whatever, maybe you have 1,000, maybe 500, maybe you have 400, maybe you have 300 in cash. Maybe somebody's now redrawing to go, hey, it's Saturday, I'm gonna go out. Weather's not so good in Montreal, so maybe less people are going out to the restaurant, to the movies, to the clubs. Right? I'm not going out. I have no no money to go out. Even though you don't really need a lot of money. With that $10, I could go see a movie if I want. I could go eat something affordable. Go get a double cheeseburger, or hamburger with a coffee, or just go get a coffee and a bagel. With that $10, I could go out. Right? I wanted to. I could go get a slice of pizza, and a drink somewhere, or go to watch a movie, $8.50 movie. Right? I could. I'm gonna rest today. I'm gonna rest. Did a lot of working out, training, exercising, the mind, the body are weak. A lot of work, independent, artistic, athletic, philosophical work. So, but I'm open for business. Primarily the business of the dancing goddess and the Dragon Kingdom on this Sabbath. I'm gonna rest, meditate. I'll continue this video for the next 10 minutes or so. So my $11 is part of the money supply in Canada. My $11 plus all the money that is in circulation. That is the money supply. That is in circulation. The money supply. Supply of the money that exists now. June 18, 2022. Canadian. Then we have the global in US dollar, whatever it is. XYZ. Right? My $11 plus my neighbors, all my neighbors in Hawk Island, Montreal, then all of the province of Quebec and coast to coast and all the provinces. Maybe it's a trillion, 7 trillion, 10 trillion. My assumption based on some rational calculations is that it's in the trillions, the money supply at this point in time, the total money that exists in circulation coast to coast. But that also includes, of course, what somebody has in the bank account, because in theory you can withdraw. Maybe there's a limit, 1,000, 500, 5,000 to withdraw from the bank on any given day, right, with limits and whatever. But if somebody has $20,000 in the bank, or $20 in the bank, I'm in the red, I'm in the minus, so my money supply is not that good. But I paid a $4 protection to have that 500 credited. Basically, I suggest people do that, unless a lot of people pay fees. Not having that protection, you have to go in the minus to pay rent, to pay XYZ, and you get a problem. You get pay fees, and the fees can be 30 bucks, 40 bucks, 50 bucks, even more if you go in the, if you don't have what's called overdraft protection, overdraft protection, overdraft protection, right? So all the money in circulation, my $11 plus yours. So that's if the one cause of inflation, increasing the money supply that doesn't keep up with job creation or real wealth creation in XYZ. Some of it is abstract, notional, some of it is practical and tangible, like the money. Money, in essence, it is unit of exchange, unit of exchange, unit of exchange. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. That's basically the what money fundamentally is. The banknotes, the money, the dollar, buy and sell. I use this bottle of wine, bought it for $9, $9.15, imported, 750 milliliters on the budget, affordable wine. Whatever I paid for the macaroni were $1, so the dollar. So that is part of the money supply. So when I buy from the store, that doesn't take off, that doesn't diminish the money supply. This has to be understood as well. It's still part of the money supply, just not my own personal money supply. Still part of the money supply, but increasing it can sometimes be a factor of the cause for inflation. Speculation can be another cause for inflation. Import and export can be another. If there's less demand for a good, it can be also domestically, consumer level. It can be import export. If, let's say, these are drastic measure, if a country is dependent on exports of a certain commodity, of a certain good, it could be wheat, it could be oil, it could be gold, it could be nickel, it could be corn, it could be potatoes, whatever. Right? Whatever the, if a country is dependent on just one or just two or three exports, and then it's reduced drastically, 20%, 30%, 50, half, it's cutting half, that could cause inflation of their currency, right? It's a possibility with the markets that we have, the economic, financial, commercial systems, and the speculation thereof could cause a country's currency to devaluate under inflationary pressures, devaluate under inflationary pressures, to devaluate under inflationary pressures. But devaluating under inflationary pressures does not necessarily mean that it's devaluating in parallel to other currencies, right? Because it can, devaluation of a currency can also mean devaluation in terms of its purchasing power of another currency, what's called forex, right? Changing of a currency. For example, the Canadian dollar buying 80 cents US, the US dollar buying $1.20 Canadian, or the Canadian dollar buying only 65 cents, euro cents, right? And the euro buying $1.35 Canadian. The trading of the currencies. A currency can, these words, devaluation, can also mean a currency is devaluated against another currency, meaning that it buys less of that currency, or it can buy more of that currency if it's evaluated in a positive manner. And this fluctuates, right? Sometimes the Canadian dollar, it was sometimes close to the US dollar, sometimes it was 93 cents, 90, even close to 1 for 1 at certain points in time during, and this was caused by import export factors, mainly, mostly, but not necessarily only, but mostly import export, and what is called in international economics, international commerce, and international finance, the trade deficits, meaning the total amount of goods which are exported versus the total amounts of goods which are imported, the total imports versus the total exports, the total imports and versus the total exports. And this has globalized in the past 3 decades. WHO across the world, with corporations importing, exporting, and public-private partnerships, and so much import and export, so many ships now exporting, importing all across the world, oil, potatoes, whatever it is, even meat, even products, even clothes, it's clothing, whatever it is. So concrete example would be this: the tomatoes are local from Quebec, so it's domestic grown, and I'm a citizen, so I'm consuming it locally, produced locally. The tomatoes close to Montreal, a greenhouse a few miles from Montreal, east of Montreal, the tomatoes. The wine, however, was imported from Italy. So this, whatever they paid, the cost, XYZ, and then they added a percentage to increase the cost in Canadian dollars. They bought it in bulk, probably they got it half, even less percent left than what I paid for it, the consumer, citizen. I say citizen consumer because consumer sounds like it's citizen consumer, citizen who consumes, citizen who seems to live, to enjoy, to do XYZ, to be, hopefully love, make love tonight is the main message, make love tonight. The main message, make love tonight is the main message. This wine crossed the ocean, was part of the import. Quebec, Canada, imported XYZ bottles of wine, which one bottle of wine from specific country, Italy, came to my table. Now I'm drinking it, doing this live stream video. Thank you. Both the importers, the ones who put it from the warehouse, unloaded it, and when I bought it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But this is accounted in the import, what Canada imports. And since we know it comes from, it's imported from Italy, we would have to look at the trade deficit between Canada and Italy to evaluate our Canadian dollar for the Italy. I believe they have euros. They don't use the lira. It used to be the lira italiana. Now is the euro mostly, right? Only, I believe. So I have to go into consideration if we have a trade deficit. And sometimes we have a trade surplus. Deficit means we import more than we export to them, and surplus, we export more than import. So countries can have with other countries deficit relations, surplus relations, surplus deficit, and it changes and varies, right? With the United States, I think a lot of it, sometimes it's, we have surpluses mostly, but sometimes we have trade deficits, very rarely, I think, Only a few years in the past 30 years. It was something good to look at. How many times in the past 30 years, somebody look it up, did Canada have a trade deficit with the United States? Our biggest trading partner. We have to look firstly at our brothers and sisters in the US, where we buy, import from the US and export from the US. Now truckers, bless you, thank you, are crossing in and out of the borders with farming products. Maybe some of these tomatoes are exported, local good tomatoes grown here. Maybe some other produce is exported from Canada. Potatoes, maybe we import and export potatoes. Dairy, we export dairy from Quebec. We have a lot of dairy, good dairy products. Cheese is in Quebec, one of the top in the world, right? So we export cheese from Quebec, which is part of Canada, right? So that would be in the export, and that could cause when to have a surplus or a deficit, because we also import from the United States. So that could be a factor in inflation. One of the factors, the import and the export, specifically what's called trade deficits or trade surplus, right? Because if we have trade deficits, it's more likely to cause an inflationary pressure. Just like increasing the money supply has what's called an inflationary pressure on the economy. But now the inflation it's not seen in decades. Solutions. I don't know if raising the interest rates is such a good idea, especially for the majority of people who are already in debt. And meaning, what does that mean? The Bank of Canada, you hear on the news, Bank of Canada, or the Federal Reserve, which is the central bank of the US, increases their bank rate. So with that increase of the central bank, all the other debts increase in power, because all it's connected to the central banking system. So if the Bank of Canada increased again their prime lending rate, that means my debt will increase. Not the debt, correction, not the debt. The debt will stay the same, but is the interest paid on the debt. Is the servicing of the interest, which debt in itself, not necessarily negative or bad. What can be harmful, what can be damaging, what can be painful, what can be negative is the interest paid on the debt. The interest, all words, keywords. So if the Bank of Canada increases the prime lending rate, by whatever, all the other debt servicing of interest servicing increases. Mortgages, loans, credit lines, student loans, all others increase. So it's pay more interest means you have less purchasing power already with inflation. Alternative solutions. I believe my solution, debt refusion theory, best at this point in time. Debt refusion theory. Coupled with citizen integration theory, coupled with democratic fusion theory, coupled with other creative ideas, to have a reset. But not a reset to bring everything to zero, but a reset to have the creative ideas to move towards a post-COVID economy, an economic, financial, commercial system of purpose and pleasure, citizen integration theory to see how things are done, for citizens to integrate across all levels of civilization and society, from see how farming is done, the rural and the urban, see how hydroelectricity works, the dams here in Quebec, see the transport, the rails, see all the things of civilization which will maintain civilization, the transportation systems. That is citizen integration theory. Debt refusion theory is taking all private and public debt, refusing it. It's not a reset. I'm not talking about necessarily a reset or what people understand by a reset. My debt refusion theory is not really a reset per se as it says, but could be a sort of, in a parallel way, a sort of a tabula rasa, but with additional creative ideas. So debt refusion theory, to take all private and public debt, my private, your private, it's public, refuse it, and an alliance, Canada, United States, NATO member country, reaching, extending to the Americas, because we got two oceans, Pan-American, here two oceans, North American Civilizational Collective, taking the debt, private and public, refusing it, creating a common unit of exchange. I call the UE, the UE, the U. Securing food, housing, and transport for all. Simple, effective, and transport people to go to work, people to go to volunteer, people to go learn about farming and see how farming is done. And hug a farmer, hug a trucker, hug XYZ in the rural, in the urban, east, west, north, south, coast to coast. Go for a weekend to see the Maritimes, to see Canada, cross US, cross northeast, west, south in the North American Civilization Collective. So citizen integration theory, coupled with debt refusion theory, they go hand in hand, and democratic fusion, and create the two complementary and covenant and cooperative institutions to be integrated with all existing public and private institutions and organizations. The International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragan Army, to be of security and service in a complementary and covenant cooperative way with the Dancing Goddess Army, aka officially the International Integrated Dance League, for purpose and pleasure, for the environment, appreciate the mother nature, not necessarily a spiritual way, but non-sectarian. I do adopt non-sectarianism in the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, in a non-sectarian way, but to integrate, to increase in recycling education, better composting methods, better recycling methods, citizen integration theory, to see citizens, fellow citizens, to see in the big cities or whatever, see where does that big truck go with all that recycling, to go see the for a weekend or a Monday or whatever the day of the week is, to go see, visit the plant, visit the composting, go east, west, north, south, you see all these things that make us in the big cities function. Citizen integration theory via the Dragon Army of security and service, that's what I'm calling for. All willingly living for the creation of these two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions via the trinity of theories known as citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, and democratic fusion theory, which I've written out over the past years and which I'm calling the implementation ASAP. No need to read them from my pieces of paper, which are many and sometimes long, or USB keys. I've got a lot in the heart, a lot in the head, and sometimes it's very simple in its doing and in its application of practice. Debt refusion theory implemented, applied, put into practice, taking all private and public debt, refusing it, so whatever that number is, with that number, and is created into the UE, secure food, housing, and transport by creating the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragon Army. Transport with, of course, simple, effective people to go XYZ kilometers, day, week, whatever allocated for volunteering or for going to learn or for going to work or recreation, whatever the number is, so that there's no abuse, right? No abuse of security and service and things of that nature. That integrated with all social media, radio, television, applications, east, west, north, south, to create this new institution integrated with all existing private and public security institutions, local, national, and international for that matter. Dancing Goddess Army, International Citizen Integrated Dance League, to dance for purpose and pleasure, for the environment, for the environment, for environmental education, for recycling, and for all the things that we do. Make love tonight. The main message is make love tonight. Make love tonight is the main message. So citizen integration theory, basically, fundamentally, in essence, that's what it is. To integrate across all levels of civilization and society. Citizen integration theory. We integrate with all, across all sectors, the farming, the trucking, the transport, and to see and to learn how these things are done. How many truckers across the North American civilizational collective now? Hundreds, thousands. How many farmers? Many, many farmers. Tens of thousands across the North American civilizational collective. Food, housing, and transport, the three essential elements of civilization. After that, fourth dimension. Fourth dimension to that trinity, services. Services. Whatever services can be offered. Cleaning, cooking, you name it. Helping with the children, helping working out, training, exercising, helping with all areas of civilization. Whatever needs to be done, whatever services with consent and hygiene, mutual understanding, and LOV. Hygiene is important. Right now I'm in my private room, private office, private temple. Have XYZ square meters. I can turn everything off. Get naked. Start dancing if I will. Do push-ups. Turn everything off. Close the blinds. Get naked and start dancing on Madonna, Tekashi 69, Kanye West. But when I do step outside, I'm no longer just private citizen. Although I'm doing a live stream, I'm sharing my private, philosophical, theoretical, artistic ideas and emotions and feelings and experiences. And my Trinity of theories, citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, democratic fusion theory, the Trinity of theories, citizen integration theory, democratic fusion theory, debt refusion theory, that Trinity of theories, which I've given in a compendium orally. Very simple. It doesn't have to be a very sophisticated, eloquent diatribe of words and fancy words and overly sophisticated techno dimensions and 10,000 pages of philosophy. In essence, my Trinity of theories is very simple. It requires doing, mutual understanding, consent, and hygiene. Because when I step outside, I'm no longer just private citizen. If I want now, I could turn everything off, go watch pornography. Probably will later on. Not self-righteous. CSIS, Secret Service, wherever you are, don't try to hack me or so. I lust, I have vices, I'm not perfect, far from it. I like BDSM switch. BDSM switch with consent and hygiene. But when I do step outside, I'm no longer just private citizen. Private citizen. Step outside, I'm already public. Also private, but also public. So I encourage everybody to hygiene in public. Wash your hands, hygiene. You know, I meditated the other day. I'll go to the bank. I push the buttons. I said, how many people have touched that before me and didn't wash their hands in their meditation? Not to be paranoid about germs, microbes, but we can only increase in public hygiene. A little bit of public hygiene is not going to hurt everybody. You step outside, we have duties and responsibilities, obligations with responsibilities. It has to be balanced in equilibrium. The responsibilities with the rights, and with the responsibilities. Citizen integration theory, the Dragan army, to be of security of service. Encourage people to work out, train, exercise, hygiene, secure food, housing, and transport. Debt refusion theory, taking all private and public debt, refusing it, creating the UE, and with the UE, create the unit currency, common currency of exchange, and secure food, housing, and transport. After we having secured food, housing, and transport, we can encourage everybody to volunteer, train, and work out and exercise, and not only maintain but hopefully upgrade civilization and go towards the stars. It's part of the dream. It's a bit of a dream, of course, but part of it is practical, part of it is realizable in many, many ways. And of course, for the revolution, do have to do a little bit of cleaning in my own home. Monday, big cleaning day on Monday. Citizen integration theory, debt refusion theory, and democratic fusion theory. A trinity of theories, applied and integrated, put into practice. Debt refusion theory, refusing all debt, all the debt that exists, public and private both, refusing it whatever the number is, and creating the UE, and creating the two complementary and covenant and cooperative institutions. International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force with the International Integrated Dance League. Dancing Goddess Army with the Dragon Army. Complementary and cooperative way. That's what I'm calling for this Sabbath. Thankful, grateful. Thank you, farmers, truckers, workers on the front lines, warehouse workers making a sandwich now. Hawkeye and Montreal across the collective of North American civilization. The collective of North American civilization. Citizen integration theory. Democratic fusion theory. Debt fusion theory. That trinity of civilizations for a new civilization that I'm hoping for. We move towards a civilization of peace in this North American civilizational collective. The collective of North American civilization from here, from Hawkeye. Apply first and foremost this trinity of theories in North America and extend beyond NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, Israel and the Americas and the world for that matter. But of course they're born here and from me as a North American, although global LGBTQ citizen, but as a centric of course to the North American civilization, and of course that we have two border, no one border, US, Canada, and two oceans, two oceans, two oceans. Citizen integration theory, debt fusion theory, democratic fusion theory. That trinity, holy, sacred, and divine trinity of theories. Applied, integrated, created to complementary and covenant institutions of the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dancing Goddess Army with the International Citizen Integrated Social Security and Service Force, aka the Dragon Army. Integrate with all existing public and private civil organizations and institutions. East, west, north, south. Simple, effective, efficient. To create it. Work out, train, exercise, take care of the body. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. Give each other a massage, give each other a good hug. I have leftovers. I haven't even finished. I'm gonna finish more. Debt fusion theory, democratic fusion theory, citizen integration theory. Citizen integration theory, debt fusion theory, democratic fusion theory. That's the compendium of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom of theories to be implemented to create the two complementary and covenant and cooperative institutions. East, west, north, south, from the North American Civilizational Collective, from the collective of North American civilization and beyond. Brothers and sisters, that's what I'm calling for world peace, a new world order of world peace, international justice, security, and ensure global freedom, and attaining harmony between civilization and nature. That's what I'm calling for, right here from Hawk Island, Montreal. For a 21st century, a labor union of the 21st century, and pleasure and purpose, an economy of pleasure and purpose, and joy, pleasure and purpose. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose. Gotta invest in it, invest in it, invest in it. How do you invest in the body? Working out, training, exercising. Working out, training, exercising. Working out, training, exercising. Taking a bath, brushing the teeth. When we step outside, when we step outside, my private domain, my private room, my rent's paid. Step outside, I'm also public. the balance between the public and the private. I have rights, rights, rights. Turn everything off. Get naked if I will. Start dancing on Madonna, Kanye West, Tekashi 69 if I will. Turn everything off, turn the blinds off, do that. I'm gonna eat, watch a movie. That's what I'm gonna do. Maybe later I'll do the dancing naked part. When I step outside, I'm no longer just private citizen, I'm also public. I have some responsibilities added, some obligations added. Here I have the rights. I write my obligation to pay my rent has been fulfilled for June. My electricity bill obligation to pay it has been fulfilled. Paid one half of my phone bill. One half. For that mention, I have food. Can say, don't owe nobody nothing. Don't owe nobody nothing. Don't owe nobody nothing. I'm open for business. I'm open for business. You want hugs, massages, working out, training, exercising, philosophy, poetry. From willingly loving, we can do business. But it has to come from love. If you're looking for love, love God. Kisses God. Massages God. Got some brains and some muscle. Some brain and some muscle. But not perfect, far from it. Issues I have, vices I have, lust I have. Don't play the self-righteous card. Got some poetry, got some dance. Can massage, can wash, can cook. Can think, can write. Can do this, can do that. Can do. Some things better than others. Some things so, some things mediocre. Some things better than others. Now electricity, we're gonna continue this with a cup of coffee. A cup of coffee. Rock and roll. And have some coffee now. Because the wine's getting to me, so I don't want to fall asleep. I'm gonna fall asleep with this wine. Cup of coffee. I'm gonna sing a song. I'm gonna sing a song. Gonna sing a song. Gonna sing a song. We don't always get along. Get along. Give me some. Give me some. Give me some. Yep. I'm gonna snap the fingers. Yep. Gonna lick that, lick that, lick that. Love. They don't do no love. They don't cook. They don't wash. I don't need them. No. They don't cook. They don't wash. They don't massage. I don't need them. No. If they don't cook, if they don't massage, I don't want them. No. I'm a man and I'm a woman. I'm an LGBTQ proud. LGBTQ proud. Yep. Put that rainbow flag. They ain't got nothing on my English. They mediocre, so they gossip. Yep. They mediocre, so they gossip. Yep. Yeah, they mediocre, so they gossip, huh? They ain't got no sentences, they only say they cough and sneeze. Love. I say the full-fledged rocket up Elon Musk. On the trigger finger, lippy, 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 you ain't got half the heart that I got. You a leech, please, you of speech, peach, you a leech, leech. Please, please. Work is gold, lips, tricks, flicks. You a parasite, lick. Parasite, you can suck on my dirt up on my feet, lick. Clip, clip, they ain't kiss, I don't want nothing to do with it. If they ain't kiss, if they ain't lick, if they ain't massage, nope, I don't want nothing to do with it. They don't kiss, I don't want nothing to do with it. They gossip in their language, yup, they burn their fingers, you to see they chew their nails, yup. That's what they do. They like to gossip, chew their nails. They spiritual fly, hawk, hawk, hawk. Horus, that's what's up, sup, sup. They like to throw poison and that filth in my eyes. They like to throw poison and that filth and that dirt in my eyes. They like to throw poison and that dirt and that filth in my eyes. But my king always rises and says, no, 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 the king unconquered, bitch. Sunset and sunrise, rah, rah, rah. Kiss and squeeze up. Mother Nature, kiss and hug them. They mediocre lovers. Love me hard or balls, buzz, buzz, fly, fly, fly. Hawk, 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 with the crow dance, dance, dance. In a last trance, with a sentence on the flag, 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 fly high. On the squeeze, we on the lips, please. On the melody up in this bitch. On the fleas with some wine for them to lips squeeze. On the sentence mom on the morning nights. The left, right, they gotta wonder what's next. They way too scripted, way too Hollywood. Way too scripted, way too Hollywood. They way too scripted, way too Hollywood. But I smell them from afar. They ain't got no heart. They just copy cats. They just copy paste. They just copy lace. They the way to waste. No kisses and no flakes. Munch up on my lips, steel toe dances. Yep, I'm a bad bitch. Androgynous, you can kiss my ass. Please squeeze lips on the freeze lips. Kiss it with your lips, please. On the please, do the twist, do a harmony, and kiss this goddess blessed ass lips. On a big hat, big pinky, pinky. On the toes, got the hand squeeze, play the spider on me. Thick and bouncy spiders, yep, they ain't about no pleasure, yep. Goddess of that space above infinite stars, loves. Kiss me on my ass, please. Kiss me on my ass, please. They don't kiss, they don't hug, they don't lips, they just blah blah blah. On the phone, they just la la la. What do I need them? Need them nothing. Free eye, hawk, hawk, hawk. On the mountain, log, log, log. Dogs gonna hush them up when they bark too much. On the lollipop, on the wine we squeeze and pops. What's the matter? 93 we red and flag, red and 93 big kisses. On the harmony we riches. Broke but gold, broke but gold, broke but gold. On the floor, dance floor. On the lips, on the squeeze, on the yeah, yeah, yeah. On the lips, they can do voices, they can voices artists, but they're mediocre cause they just copy it. No creative originality, they just leeches. They just leeches. No creative originality, they just leeches. No creative originality, they just leeches. They're just good at imitating. Voice actors, yup, they just good at imitating. They ain't got no creative. Parasites, man. Leeches. Parasites. Parasites. Sunlight. Sunlight. Golden arches make the storm light. With the fingers and piano lips and light. On the sunlights. When the sun bites, categorize. On the life. On the kiss, on the squeeze, you can torque up in these lips. You can torque a move harder, give me love squeeze. In the jeans lips, made 'em blue flips. Some black hat and some golden lap, make 'em scarlet red and lax. With some blocks on the Sabbath, toast 'em up. With some 5 licks, with some kiss lips. Finger licking good delicious. On the squatted day attentions figure this. On the figures, on the squeezes, on the lipses, on the ices, on the munches, on the frips, clips, on the frips, categorize this licks. On the disco, crow, bee, bark, yep. Crow be kissing a crow. I be kissing a crow. In a row. Formation for that low. On the transcripts, they be licorice. Yep. Call the Elon Musk. Say I need a kid. Yeah, me EI bitch. Fly me dragon lips up to the sky clips. They already made their millions. Why they so selfish, bitch? Ain't no them nothing low. Poetry, clip it, flip it, zip it. On the lipid, licorice, lick it, pay the candy bar, who's with it? With the candy laughs, we limp it, maybe lips it, pour that legal, smoke it. Pour that legal, smoke it, pour that legal, smoke. Coke it with the coffee, yep. Put some sugar and some honey, love. Some sugar and some honey, loves. Hear the crow. Hear the crow roll in a low foe. In the crow bow, in the crow soul. In the crow low, in the crow lows. Crows be the crows on the finger toes, ballet up in the rose hose. It's a rose flow, it's a rose bro. Best rapper that they don't know foe. On the best clippers on the road though. With the fingers on the soul, slow mo. With the pictures on the slow ICBM rockets, but the smartphones gotta go low. With the food on the secure no. Crispy on the macaroni, cheese low. Give me foot massages, baths, they no one kisses. I don't want nothing to do with it. With a twerking, if it's not LOV, you can keep it away far from it. They don't wanna kiss, don't wanna hug, don't wanna love. I don't want nothing to do with it. They don't wanna love, they don't wanna kiss, they don't wanna hug, they just want thug. I don't want nothing to do with it. Clean and cook and clean it, get it dirty, get back clean it, mean machine it with a washing in the spleen it. English up, this the best to the poem you ever sentenced this to the sentence with the streets. On the black belts, they were lost stealth. On the low tells how they feel to be feel. They to do some push-ups. They to do the next push-ups, hawk squats with the hawk. My lord pecks at my back's back. They throw in my eyes. Yep, black filled up in my eyes. That's what they like to throw. Golden light and flu flow. With the crispies in the Christmas, that's they like me to show. With the back flips, with the back clips, they like OPO me to try to put the leash, but it's on leash, please. On the hawk squeeze, hawk-headed, hard-headed, HAWK. They just go to blah, blah, blah. They don't cook, they don't massage, they don't clean. They don't march and they don't dance and they don't lips. They just gonna blah blah blah. They don't dance. They don't massage. They don't cook. They don't kiss. They just good at blah blah blah. See them turn up in the circle. Golden sun up in the starlights. Look at the starlight. On the moon, licorice bar. Eat a starlight. Eat a starlight. And another star up in the sky. Look at the star height. With a starlight. With a star height. With a star light. With the star lights, with the star heights, with the star blights, with the star heights, with the star lights, with the star brights, with the star kikes, with the star lights.